回整理中です。Patrolling.
Hi, how's everyone doing? I don't think there are many of you who have traveled abroad during this pandemic, but I've created this video to share my experience just in case someone is wondering what they need for the flight back to America. Like, what if I can't pass immigration, or what if they don't allow me to board the flight? Here's the answer. According to my recent experience, in the end of February 2021, I prepared 3 things for my flight back to the US, which is 1. Proof of negative result for PCR test, 2. CDC's passenger disclosure, and 3. The stage traveler form. I'm Kimura Agusu, and today I would like to explain about these 3 things. Okay, so for PCR, we need to have a proof of negative result within 72 hours of departure. That means you don't have a lot of time to prepare. But my question was, what do you mean by 72 hours? Does it mean that I have to have a result within 72 hours of departure? Or does it mean the actual test needs to be conducted within 72 hours of the flight? I couldn't find the answer at that moment, but after seeing how the test results was written, I understood that I needed to have had the test conducted within 72 hours of departure. So, say if I went to the clinic 4 days before the flight and received the proof 24 hours before the departure, that would not have been conducted as negative result within 72 hours of departure, because the test had been conducted way more than 72 hours ago. Well, it may not be so, but I would keep it this way. Again, the test itself needs to be conducted within 72 hours of departure, but I realized there weren't many options to make that happen. I googled and called many of the clinics, but even though it says like you can get the result in minimum 24 hours, once I called them, most of them said they weren't sure if they can actually provide the results not just within 24 hours, but also in a certain amount of time. And in my situation, the day 72 hours before the flight was a holiday and most of the clinics were going to be closed. And if I were to take the test the day after, I wouldn't have made the flight. So instead of searching the clinic, I started to search for my alternative flight, but luckily I've hit up with this clinic in Narita Airport. It is Narita International Airport PCR Center, and they were the one who was able to provide the result within minimum 2 hours. Now, not just that they can provide the result in a short amount of time, and plus, they have the clinic in both terminals, Terminal 1 and 2. Very convenient, but a bit pricey. So, you can walk into this clinic, but I recommend to make a reservation because A, your preferred time slot may not be available, and B, there's a discount when you make a reservation. If you need more information about this clinic, you can find the URL from the channel description box below. So in my case, I was able to get the result in 3-4 hours, and while waiting, I went to the check-in counter to see if I was able to do something, or at least leave my luggage. And at that moment, I wasn't sure when exactly I needed the proof. And yes, I figured out that I needed the proof to check in, and that was the only opportunity to show it to anyone. Next is CDC's passenger disclosure. It's something like this, and the purpose of this document is to attest that you were tested negative for the PCR test, or if you're proven that you have recovered from COVID-19. It says that each individual 2 years of age or older must provide a separate attestation, and the aircraft operators should be collecting them. In my case, I was never asked to do so, but please check out the CD's website for further information. You can also find the URL from the channel description box below. Last but not least, the stage traveler form. As far as I've heard, these are the states which requires the form: New York, New Jersey, and Massachusetts. And the city of Los Angeles also requires the form. For this one too, I was never asked to provide any related information, but please see the state's website for details. You can also find the URL for these locations from the channel description box below. That's it. Oh, by the way, when you head to the airport, you should double check the schedule of your transportation. They really have irregular schedules these days, and most of the express trains are canceled. Please have a safe trip, and I'll see you next time.